He talks about the extravagance and big expenditure by State House, and it.
First he was talking about the convoy. I came with the convoy. Yes, that convoy is because of terrorism. If there was no terrorism, I just walk on foot. I have no problem at all. Now, the 200 billion shillings for State House. Yes, this is because I'm not a decoration president. To be there, just president. I am a working president. Now, this money, when some of the actors fail to do their work, I do it myself. You see me as a guerrilla.
No, you are a president, you are not a guerrilla.
but I am a president.
You stopped the day you left Kidwell. You are now a president of the Republic of Uganda.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ssemujju. But I am a president who has got a discipline over guerrilla. Now, the guerrilla does things at a time. You cannot do everything.
I think if you've been around in Uganda for some time, you'd certainly know that President Museveni will not answer that question. All the time he has offered himself is being urged to stand.
Is
so
that illegal?
He creates an impression that him as a person is not interested. But people are urging him to stand. And that's why in many NRA meetings, where the process of him becoming a candidate starts with some resolution of Anite and Omona urging His Excellency to stand. And that's how he has gone against his own one. Because if you read his manifesto, I think the one of 2001, at least on more than 4 pages where he said, I am not coming back. And eventually he was urged. So you are right to say he's one of the cleverest men we have in this country. But the point is, and the president said it in his book, what are Africa's problems? If we don't sort out politics, governance, you will not stop discussing it. Because let me tell you, Oscar, the president, when he came here and captured power, 1986, Uganda was the project. Along with the way the president became the project, the amount of money now we spend on the presidency and keeping him in power is almost more than the amount of money we spend. You're talking about delivering services. You'll never deliver services once a leader becomes the project of a country. The president came here, he said, I will go and buy furniture in Kawempe. He was riding Santana. He gave his ministers in Saniraure, he said, we must be frugal with our resources. When I was in South Sudan, at the inauguration of that country, the president came with his jet, the chopper was there was a motorcade. When you combine the amount of money we spend on the president visit, in fact, I sat with the ministers and MPs from UK and other countries that had been sent there by the speaker. When the president arrived, they were wondering whether he was the president of South Sudan. South Africa, which is the second biggest economy in Africa, their president came with 3 vehicles provided by South Sudan. The one of Uganda came with a jet, with a chopper, with a motorcade of about 50. And even all these people you see now who are hovering around, it is not because they love the president more than Mushega. It is because they have discovered when you go and begin praising the president, there will be personal benefits. And that's what is killing Uganda. We will never discuss anything. In the parliament, we are discussing the president. On radio, everybody is discussing Mr. Museveni. And it is only him who can stop this discussion. When the president put Uganda at the center of the discussion, the time when he was still, because he's been also been around, ideologically charged, and I use that word ideologically charged, I meant it. He said, now we will no longer buy your thing. We will bring maize, you give us ammunition, you give us this and that.
And you think he's changed from that?
I said when he was ideologically charged.
And you think he's changed?
The environment has changed him. He's not a socialist that we had when he captured power. He's now a capitalist.
Has the environment changed you? You drive a Prado. Your wife drives
Me,
a
it
car.
was because of the limited resources. But once personally I get money, I'll go and buy the most expensive vehicle. Me as a person. So therefore, the point I am making, you will never get an answer from President Museveni whether he will stand. Because now it will be like he wants, and always he wants to create an impression he doesn't want. He's being urged by Anite, by so and so.
And you also have to take on board that they are urging, because if you asked really, even in his sleep, he would say he wants
who is
Museveni
urging him to stay?
Is urging
His colleagues with whom they fought to come and liberate Uganda, they all have been asking him not to continue standing. Who is asking him? When the president came here, Nekesa, Omona, Anite, some of them were not even born. He came here when I was 12 years old. So therefore the point, Oscar, you can allow me just one more second. Yes. First of all, that answer you will not get. But secondly, you cannot discuss service delivery without discussing President Museveni.
Okay.
Let me tell you one thing as I finish. The president this year in Parliament, because he's the Minister of Finance, he allocated the State House 200 billion shilling. 80 billion shilling is for him to donate. The one who is responsible for roads, for hospital, he also has money to go and giving around. And that's why the other day I think some opportunists outsmarted him. They made him carry a sack of money. And that was bizarre in the history of this country, to make a head of state carry money. And I know he will never repeat it. But then one month down the road, I saw him lining people in the State House and they are receiving boxes of money. The work of now Brigadier Naroiso in the State House is distribution of money. I think the president, when he goes back to the time Binaisa was there, he must be angry with himself that actually he has surpassed Binaisa. State House was never a vote. It was a department under President's office. It now receives money. You have let me tell you, the day President Museveni will do this country a favor and stop promoting himself as a project, all of us will be celebrating, and I think I'll lead the choir to go and sing for him.
Okay.
The problem of Ugandans is indiscipline, spending too much, spendthrifts, extravagance. They don't know how to save, and okekeres. They don't know. They are not like the Asians who are very good at okekeres. So if the people are not saving and they are not investing so that you support them and managing well, one option is what the Russians did, and that's what I've been experimenting with, like when I support the banana project. You have got a scientist who has got the knowledge, but he has no money. We give him money, and we see whether it does. Well, that's what the Russians did. Those scientists became now the producers, but working for the government, working for the parastatals. Really, that's what we are struggling with. But otherwise, capacity we have, we have built it, and we are moving very well. Now, going to other issues, Museveni goes with the big convoy. Well, Uganda happens to be in the midst of a turbulent area. I don't know whether Ssemujju Ibrahim has ever joined the Tabliks. Some people are trying to bring terrorism here.
I am a Tablik.
You are a Tablik?
Yes.
Well, I hope you are not linked to the other man. What is his name? Jamil Mukuru. So, we are living in a turbulent part of Africa, and we have to take measures against terrorism. And for that one, I can walk, I have no problem, I can sleep anywhere. But when it comes to anti-terrorism measures, sorry, we have no apologies to say that we secure the president of Uganda so that we do our work. And Uganda has been in the front line of fighting those terrorists. You are talking of South Sudan, but those are your issues. South Sudan, you know Uganda's stand on South Sudan. So if you don't know that, then you shouldn't be in Parliament. Now,
He talks about the extravagance and big expenditure by State House, and it.
First he was talking about the convoy. I came with the convoy. Yes, that convoy is because of terrorism. If there was no terrorism, I just walk on foot. I have no problem at all. Now, the 200 billion shillings for State House. Yes, this is because I'm not a decoration president. To be there just president, I am a working president. Fortunately, my State House controller is here. She came here by accident. I normally don't go around with her. But we're coming from. Now, this money, when some of the actors fail to do their work, I do it myself. I start model villages. You can go and visit them. Model parishes, not just villages. I don't know how many we have. You can actually give a statement and actually later. Let them go and visit them. Like, I think money has been going through NADS, through you, members of parliament, through the districts. Big amount of money has been going. But they have not been using it properly until we have had to come in now to use the army, and you will see the difference. But even before that, I couldn't be part of this, not helping the people. Around Kisozi, I have 9 villages with 1,500 homesteads. They have now gone to 1,700. I couldn't just go on watching those people. The man of NADS, some of it was coming from through Gomba, through Mpigi. At that time, Mpigi was a district. But I wouldn't see what was happening. The other man was coming through Zimbabwe. I was not seeing what was happening. But because of this budget of mine, I was able to intervene in those 9 villages. You go there and see the difference.
Your Excellency, that creates a management problem. If you are running parallel, we understand the president would like to intervene, but for example, if it was the business world, the business would collapse.
No.
Because if you are running something is not working, then you run a parallel institution. Well, so you are paying the other one, paying this one.
Well, this is not a management unit. This is also a political unit.
But the management is important.
It is important, but you cannot manage a country like you manage a business, because there is also politics. There was decentralization. It is in the constitution. These people take a big chunk of money. It goes. But they don't perform as well as I would like. What is wrong with me having the flexibility to say, okay, you people, I see what you are doing, but you also come here and see what I'm doing.
But you appoint, the better example where the confusion is you have, for example, Ministry of Lands. You appoint a Minister of Lands. Then you also appoint the Assistant Ministers, the Ministers of State. Then you have a Minister of State for Lands who is fighting, perhaps perceived as fighting, the Minister for Lands. Then you have a desk in State House for lands. And you have all these competing forces. Sometimes you have the Inspector General of Police also going to do lands. But then all these people are your appointees. So what is wrong with just dismissing the others and say, now, this is what we have?
You see, dismissing is a crude method.
Sorry, retire the others and say, I want efficiency.
Because there's also the question of concept. Somebody is saying that these peasants cannot get out of poverty. I am saying it can be done.
Your minister saying it can't. That one you should have dismissed.
No. It's not my minister. It is the whole structure. It is the whole structure. Well, I don't want to say including the Honorable Katutu, but all of you, because all of you, we give you money through NADS. 200 billion shilling. You are talking of 200 billion. This is 200 billion just for homestead income, not for anything else. This 200 billion of setups you are talking is for external trips. is for everything, fuel, internal travel. Now, we give this huge amount of money to the system, but they don't implement what we have talked about, or they don't do it the way I want. Now, if I have some small budget, and I do it, I say, okay, you people, you look here, I have done it. What's wrong with that? Why do you want to have a president who is simply just there as a decoration? You cannot, this is a model, just to show you the example. When I started UPE, because I am not a president who lives in France, I've never even visited Dubai. I visited Dubai for the first time just a few days ago. When I go home, when I'm not in Nakasero or in Tebe, I am in my villages. And the peasants besiege me there. School fees, poverty, what have you.
We got that revered as members of parliament.
Okay. But if you as a member of parliament, you have no solution, at least you're a small player. But for the president to have no solution at all is not acceptable. I don't think that's not my idea of leadership. So when I was facing these pressures, I started the first UPE school in my farm in Burera. So I said, what does it need to provide free education? What if I built the classrooms, paid the teachers? Why can't the children study free? So I started. Using part of this budget, I built a primary school. Before UPE, before I was able to come out to the public and say, now we can provide free education for the whole country, I first did a pilot in my farm there. I gave them land, almost 100 acres, and I built their school. So the children come and studied. So we can provide, I started another pilot in Rekumburo. So this budget of this president you are talking about, which you are trying to make fun of, what is a budget which delivers help to the people of Uganda.
Okay.
But besides, this president is not somebody who just goes around with typewriter, with typists and people like that. He's a president who contributes to the security of the country. Some of that money handles the SFC, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, SFC. There is a whole force, a very big force.
Special Forces Command.
Yes. So some of that money supports. So please, the 200 billion.
SFC will come back to that one, Your Excellency, Chief Gangster, because I also put to you that maybe the ones in the regular are equally annoyed with SFC. We had refinery as well, oil prices going down globally, but in Uganda, when I put petrol after this show, my pocket is damaged.
Well, that's a good question. I'm going to study it. I haven't studied it. Why the local price here should still be high when the global price? I haven't studied it. I have to study it unless these people have some information.
Okay, so that you give a response to that in due course.
In due course.
And then the refinery issue. Can we still now afford a refinery with all these oil prices? They are predicted to be down for nearly 2 years from now.
No, we shall build our refinery, one or the other, because the oil prices are going down. Globally, they are going down because of the Americans who discovered this shale gas, shale something which produces both gas and fuel. But what I hear is that extracting that shale is expensive. That if the price of oil, I think that's why the Saudis are allowing the price to collapse, because when it collapses below a certain point, then the share operations will not be profitable. I have had that argument. But for us, whatever the price of oil is, we shall produce our oil. We shall, if the companies who don't want to build the refinery, we shall build it ourselves.
But it's a question of economics, Your Excellency. The economics suggest that building this large house to process our oil is going to be far more expensive than the alternative. We do like the refinery as a matter of pride, but is pride enough to fund the refinery?
Whatever the price is, we are going to benefit, because we have got now 6 billion barrels proven. You may not get all of it out of the ground. You may get, let's say, even if you say you are to get out 2 billion, you know, because of the science of extraction, not all of it will be pumped out. Even if you said 2 billion, when the price was 100 a barrel, that would have been a total of 200 billion. 100 times 200 billion.
200 billion.
That would have been 200 billion
US dollar.
dollars. But even if now it goes to 60, that will still be
600.
No, more than
So it would be 120.
120 billion. That's not a small amount of money. And building the refinery, if we are going to use, I don't know how much, 2 billion or whatever, out of the 100.
At some point, Your Excellency, will you know? Because that's part of the problem. We want, you advocate transparency. Will there be published a chart of accounts? This is it's going to cost this much. So fighters cost this much. But when? Because this simple, as a government looking ahead, you wishing for service delivery, all this information should have been published earlier, so that we are all with
No,
you
the only
thinking
delay,
this is a good economic
the only
decision.
delay was that I nominated Professor Nakimera, a lady, to head this petroleum authority with some other people there. When I sent them to the Katuntus, they said they were not.
There are issues.
That they were not good. When I talked to those women myself, very brilliant, that Nakimera. So that's what has delayed. I've been discussing with my young sister Rebecca. That's what delayed the petroleum authority. Otherwise, we are moving. We have finished all the other issues.
Well, if we have some issues, Your Excellency, maybe it's better you address the issues we raise, because you can't just say, oh no, we can't. We always give reasons.
Well, I don't. This is not for here.
Yeah.
But that's what delayed, because the names which had been proposed to me, I didn't know Nakimera, but she's a very highly qualified scientist, petroleum geologist or something. Now, regarding the cadres, the quality of the cadres is going down. I don't really believe so. What we have done, it's true that we had to expand the cadreship. That's why I started the patriotic clubs and the patriotism secretariat led by Lieutenant Colonel Matsuko or Dauk, or those people. They are there. They are manufacturing a lot of young people in those schools. Now, then the other one of who are these people who are urging Museveni to continue when his Bush colleagues are saying you go away? Oh, my dear friend, you see, this is part of the problem. There's somebody who fell in the lake, thinking it was a pad of water. The force which we have is a very strong force. You may see some of these politicians, a few of them, Amanya Mushaga, the ones you know. But the people who fought for, they are there. The ones you see are not. These were the political leaders. But how about all that force? Which you think Kampala was captured by Besigye and Amanya Mushaga and this handful of people? They are those who fought for. They are there. You don't see them because you are busy here in Capital Gang. You are talking about yourselves. You are talking about. You are just full of yourselves. But there are people. They are there. So whatever this one says, that one says, those who fought are there. Many of them have never been heard of. They're just quiet, doing their work, dying, surviving, but they are there. So please, you should learn how to be modest and know that shouting in the newspapers is not the only form of contribution. Maybe it is a form of contribution, but it's not the only one. You should know that there are other people who contribute. I think these are the big ones.
The major ones.
No, nobody wants to get rid of Mbabazi. Absolutely not. Really, you should just get it out of your heads that our aim was to get rid of Mbabazi, was the main point. But we had to end the question of having a secretariat which is not full-time and linked. Because you see, the NRM is like a huge banana plantation. Somebody cultivates a huge banana plantation. You can imagine there are 57,000 villages in Uganda, more, 57,000 plus. And as Katun here knows, even Ssemujju must know, there are 30 NRM leaders in each of those villages. The 30.
The official 30.
The official 30. These are just the leaders, without talking about the members. Now, to not connect with these people actively is a crime.
But President, that was your view. You remember after the elections of 2001, I think, you told the SEC that you needed 11 billion shilling to run those structures, and you said they should not be functioning until the time of elections. That was your own proposal.
No. Why? Why should I say that? Why should I say that? Why should they not be functioning?
You said you needed 11 billion shilling to make those structures function.
I can't remember that. But why would they be there and then not function?
So the Secretariat is supposed to be addressing these very things?
Yes, just even if you don't have money. You know, when we were in the conference, I gave them the example of St. Paul. St. Paul was a very good mobilizer. He had no money, but he was writing letters. You have read them to the Galatians, to the, communicate with them, even in writing, even letters.
Okay.
Yeah, but President, sorry, I didn't want to disturb the flow of your argument. But the politics that you have built, and I want to accuse you because you can put a stop on it, you alone. Every single meeting of NRM, can you imagine the number you are even giving MPs money? 500,000 members of parliament to come and attend their own meeting. These structures of parties, you're talking about of NRM, wherever they are, if you don't send money, it will be chaos.
Okay.
And that's why they are not functioning. Even if you have a full-time secretariat, people now associate with you because they know this is a very generous president, there is money to get.
Okay.
And that's why the other day they were arresting Kawesi Ndawala when he was the youth, when he was the treasurer of NRM. Nearly they were lynching him until military police had to go there. Because every meeting of NRM now is a meeting to get money. Can you imagine in Nambole, even the wheelchair you had provided for people who are disabled, they took the wheelchair. Said this is an NRM thing, we must go. When we had them in the meeting, I was still a student, they took our blankets and spoon and fork.
Okay.
So that culture, sir, you can stop.
Okay. There's a problem. There's a problem of
money.
What do you call this? Mercenarizing. Yes. Monetizing. Monetizing politics, which is a mistake. If you read my statement, I really castigated it and advised them how to get out of it. They will get out of it. They will get out of it. It's a mistake, but the structure is there. And
you're saying eventually it will come good.
The spirit of sacrifice is there because when we fought, who was giving us money? Spirit of sacrifice. It's just a distortion caused by careerists, by you people who came into politics as a career. You are the ones who have caused this distortion.
Yes.
We need the president to close the tap. If you close it, you will end.
Chief Gangster, we are going to stop for a break. And after the break, I'd like us to look at criminality.
Okay.
Lawlessness.
The Capital Gang on 91.3 Capital FM.
I have another one from Teja Simwe, who is also in the rankings for listener #1 for 2014. By the way, the listener #1, when we choose at the end of the show, we shall invite them to receive Capital Radio goodies. But Nteja Simo says, today's show is the best ever in the history of Capital Gang. How is that? And then Nwabwine says, the president has still not answered my question on Bimezas. But Chief Gangster, as you come on and also answering on Bimezas and public anger, the issue of criminality, before you came in, it was one of our topics and we discussed it. In a week alone, we've had 2 Muslim clerics dead very brutally. A businessman earlier was killed brutally. I gave an example of in my village, a young driver a car was stolen from him, dumped in the bushes, in the marshes. We had a woman killed a couple of months ago. In Bwebaja where I work, there was a time, I think it was September, there's a killing spree. The times, whereas we might be doing well on global security, but the lawlessness is rising. Your Excellency.
But also, I mean, the president
on the same point.
Yes, the president did ask, like, people that very serious. He says, "Are you a tabligh?" I think that's a very big statement that the president will need to explain. Because if you ask, "Are you a tabligh?" and then you ask, "Are you linked?" because that endangers all the tablighs in the country, and moreover, the people you are mentioning now.
He had said earlier that the tablighs in that time. Well, so
no, I don't
to be fair, you want him
so
to
he
ask.
said, "Are you linked to the Amiru Mukuru?" So when the president asked me, first of all, me, I am a tabligh. We have had our leaders killed, and the president is linking tablighs to terrorism. Because he asked that and immediately went to terrorism. So I really want to my security to be assured
when we discussed it
the
earlier,
security of tablighs is assured in this country.
But when we discussed it earlier, we also commented on General Kaira talked about ADF.
Ssemujju is right this time.
Oh, we need to record these things.
But this is one of the few times he has made a correct point. It is true that when the tabligh movement started, it was misunderstood. But as time went on, it became clear that some of the tabligh were with the Amiru Mukuru and others were not. So that one is not a problem. And I have not heard that Ssemujju, for all his weaknesses, that is part of because otherwise I would have arrested him long ago.
For all his weaknesses.
But coming back to the question of crime, I'm really very annoyed and by these killings. But we should defeat them. We should defeat them because we had actually not concentrated so much on this small crime. We were concentrating on terrorism, cattle rustling, which we have defeated. And we had not invested as much. As I said in my address, the police are doing a good job, but they are using old methods. There are some old police methods which they are using, which bring results. But there are more modern means which can help us. One of them is what we did recently, is the ID project, that computerized ID. That helps a lot to fighting crime. But there are 2 other systems, as I said in my radio address on the New Year. One of them is the cameras. This is in order to expedite the investigations. Using the old police methods, we shall always find out. But it takes longer. You go by clues, you know, like for instance, the one who killed Muaya. Those 2 people on the motorcycle who killed Muaya. They came on a motorcycle. Muaya was a man of the people. He had no bodyguarding, you know, nothing, just there. He was sitting on the veranda of his house at night. I think it was like 9. Sitting in the veranda of his house. These people came as if they were going to greet him.
And shot him.
And shot him. Now, they didn't know that somebody was seeing them. They thought he was alone. So of course, the one who saw them didn't know exactly who they were, so we shall have to work on that, you know, how tall were they, how, you know, it's a long
investigation.
A long investigative, analytical. But for instance, especially in the towns, if you had like cameras, straight away you would see the, you know, maybe not even if he's covering his face or what, but you would see the, it would make the investigation much quicker. So we are going to really now address crime. The way we addressed terrorism, the way we addressed cattle rustling, we are now going to address
the criminality. The accusation you have, Your Excellency, Chief Minister,
at least for the towns.
Yes.
At least for the towns, because even the other man who killed the sheikh who was in the town, the one who was coming out again from like a mosque, was coming from a mosque. Again, you know, all these are missed opportunities. If there were cameras there.
Public institutions.
You see,
Streets, public institutions.
Your Excellency, the way to put it,
we had not invested in that because, you know, so many priorities and so on and it was not so much pressure. We had not concentrated on it as a big problem. But now that it is a problem, we are going to invest and deal with it.
Because police needs to gain the public's confidence that they will be able to investigate something.
In London, you remember when somebody came and planted a bomb in the underground train. This was some years ago. Somebody came and put a bomb, but the people who were in the central control very soon were able to unload. They didn't know. They were not alert that he would do it, but they went backwards and unloaded. Saw him placing the package, and then going to see it. You know, it helps. It will help.
The confidence that we need to have with police is, of course, in competence and managing such crime. But then the Ssemujjus also accuse you that the police is equipped in managing political disturbances. If, for example, Kano Besigye says he's walking to Capital Gang now, he'll be managed quickly and swiftly.
No, but you say,
but when
you even saw them involved
himself
in the Abama Mbabazi conflict.
When will we get to that position where even such criminality is sorted out swiftly?
That's an opinion that should not come from a member of parliament. Because the member of parliament should know that riot police has nothing to do, even if there is no riot, and the riot policemen are in their barracks, they will not be dealing with a crime. The crime is only dealt with by CID and by the plain clothes policemen who go there on the scene. They have nothing to do with even if there was no riot. So you cannot say that the riot policemen are diverted with if they were not diverted, they would have.
I don't know, maybe I need to make the point.
No. Let the Chief Minister finish, and then we'll do a final round of comments and finish with him.
Because the police is totally specialized. If there is a crime, it is the CID who are full time on that job. If there is a riot, it will be the riot people who will be dealing with it. There is no way they can be diverted because of political reasons. That's a different branch altogether.